And the judge went crazy. The judge was like, red flags, red flags. He was like, because I kept trying to dismiss the attorney, right? I was like, I'm not going to be represented by an attorney. I represent myself, da da da. And the judge is like looking over that, like, you're gonna have an appointed attorney. That's it. That's all. And by this time, I'm at home. Okay,
Period.
so I'm at home, and they're doing what they want to do. So I had went on ahead with my friend, and we filed all the stuff into the case. And the judge didn't like that because when you start talking about Title 50, really, you are an enemy. You're an enemy. This is seized land, and we talking about literal war crimes against the people, against the native people of the land. So when you point things out to them, they have to acknowledge what you're saying. So like somebody that's going to court, say for a foreclosure or, any matter for your kids or whatever, a lawsuit, anything, it falls under this. Their courts being in the country falls under this. So ain't no way around that. And one thing that I came to learn, without before I start this, was that if you go into a bank or if you look up a mortgage company with the SEC, right? How many of you have continuously seen that the trustee is douche bank? So douche bank is like all over everything. The trust companies, the banks, the mortgage companies, everything dealing with securities, they are predominantly the trustees. And even if it says it's a different trustee, their trustee is still douche bank. So I don't know if you guys are aware that douche land is German. Those are the Germans. So we never became free. It was a treaty. Okay. It was an agreement. So if you go through, that's why I asked y'all to read the Trading with the Enemy Act before class, right? Because I want y'all to be familiar with what we finna go over and discuss and talk about, right? Not that you can actually get a full comprehension of what you're gonna go through, without an in-depth study, breaking it down piece by piece. I want to go ahead, Sister Empress.
Yes, I'm here.
I see you got your hand up.
Oh no, no, no! It was agreeing with you. You
Oh,
said,
okay,
"Are
okay.
you
I'm a
familiar with
little slow.
Deutsche Bank?" And I was like, "Yep, I'm familiar with them." Yep. I apologize.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was up.
They own and they are governing every corporation, right? So when people say, "Oh, I need to go in and find the trustee and find out who to send this to and who to send that to," it's always them. It's always them. I don't care who goes through what, they're somewhere on it because everything operating through the US is through them. All these banks get their licenses through them. So, and that's the same thing of us applying for the licensing to do what have to be done, right? In terms of OFAC and the alien property custodian. Uh, I just saw something that caught my eye. I was just on something that caught my attention, and I literally lay eyes on what just came out of my mouth. Okay, look at this. I'm zooming in on my side. I hope I'm zooming in on y'all side too.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Whereas the President of the United States on January 6, 1955, submitted to the Senate for its advice and consent to ratification a mutual defense treaty between the United States of America and the Republic of China, which recognizes that an armed attack in the West Pacific area directed against territories therein described in the region and Formosa and the Pescadores would be dangerous to the peace and safety of the parties of the treaty. Therefore, be it, they went into an agreement. Okay. So all these agreements started forming, and then the United Nations kind of just put it all in place, saying that this is how we're going to operate it, this is how we're going to do it for the sake of peace. So China's only one part of it, but I'm going to get to over here where it shows that investments by custodians and participating certificates issued by Secretary of Treasury, transfers to and payments from German, Austrian, and Hungarian special deposit accounts, allocation of payments. Okay, we're going to talk about why these here are listed as the enemies. Okay, but they're custodians, period. So all of America's land has been invested with another nation, okay, that basically conquered America. So we cannot say that America is free. It ain't never been free. That's why on some of the previous classes, when I say that they're puppets and they're carrying out the works for, the Grand Master, that's pulling the strings. But it's not something that they want to do, it's something that they have to do. They kind of don't have a choice. So let me take y'all forward a little bit. Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917. I think somebody texted me that they couldn't find it or something, or they couldn't find something that I discussed on the class. I don't know, I forget. I get 50,000 messages, so forgive me if I answer you, because y'all messages are plenty. This here is the law. I don't know if it was this group or another group where I kept saying, but what does the law say? Okay, this here 40 stat 411, this is the Trading with the Enemy Act. This 40 stat 411 is law. It's not a statute, it's not a code. It's the law. So when I say, what does the law say? What does the law say? This is what I'm referring to. This is a law. I got a whole list of them, actually. I'm gonna put them in the Telegram group. But all of this is what you want to go based on how to come out of situations and how to go and defend yourself. This not gonna be the only thing that makes sense, because it's the law. All them other statutes, codes, and all that stuff, it really doesn't matter. Okay. I wonder if we can get, is VH on the call?
Yeah.
Leisha, try to go into your Zoom, download some of those classes and videos and email them to yourself.
I'm just deleting them. I'm deleting the ones that I don't give out.
Okay, so we should be able to record in a minute, y'all, because I'm trying to get her to clean some stuff up because she ran out of space. So it's no storage to hit record. So I'm just give it a second, and just kind of.
When I try to download them on my iPad, it doesn't download. It only gives me the transcript of talking. like a
You hitting the
file,
wrong
not the
one.
actual video.
It should open up. When you open it up, it's gonna open up 4 different levels. One of them is transcribed, only one. The other
Right, but the video
one of
never
them is just
downloads.
audio.
The audio stops downloading. I need to try it on your computer.
Okay. Okay, so work on that. I'll come back to that in a second. So all of this is just the descriptions of the sections that is here. Does everyone have this PDF? If you don't have it, let me know because I can send it to the group.
Please do, just in case. I don't believe I have that one.
Absolutely. If you could send it, that would be fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the group. But this is basically going over, let me hit the definitions because I want y'all to really dive deep into what you're dealing with a lot of this stuff. It's not definitions in section 2. Okay. The word enemy, as used herein, shall be deemed to mean for the purpose of such trading and of this act, basically all sections, any individual, partnership, or other body of individuals of any nationality resident within the territory, including that occupied by the military and naval forces of any nation with which the United States is at war, or resident outside the United States and doing business within such territory, and any corporation incorporated
Recording in
within
progress.
such territory of any nation with which the United States is at war. Let me start over since we started recording. So we're going over the definitions of the Trading with the Enemy Act. So in these definitions, we're going to pinpoint why this is useful, why this is the law. It's basically all wrapped up within 40 Stat 411, which is war defense. It's Title 50 in the USCs. So if you go to any USC codes, that's Title 50. Title 50 is talking about being at war. The word enemy, as used herein, shall be deemed to mean for the purpose of such trading and of this act, sections 1 through basically 39 of this appendix, any individual, partnership, or other body of individuals of any nationality resident within the territory, including that occupied by the military and naval forces of any nation with which the United States is at war, or resident outside the United States and doing business within such territory, and any corporation incorporated within such territory of any nation with which the United States is at war, or incorporated within any country other than the United States and doing business within such territory. Give me 1 second. I gotta plug this. Let me plug this up real fast. I don't know how I'm sitting here. Every device dying. Lord help me. Okay. Okay, B, the government of any nation with which the United States is at war in any political or municipal subdivision thereof, or any officer, official, agent, or agency thereof. Such other individuals or body or class of individuals as may be natives, citizens, or subjects of any nation with which the United States is at war. Let me stop right there. I want to pause because that right there just said a lot. We have all been basically sold into a system that is governed by our enemy. So when we say any class, I'm looking at letter C now, such other individuals or body of class of individuals as may be native citizens or subjects, okay, that makes you subjected to this, okay? So when we say subjects, I want y'all to pay attention to the etymology here of the words being used of any nation with which the United States is at war, other than citizens of the United States. Wherever resident or wherever doing business as the president, if he shall find the safety of the United States or the successful prosecution of the war shall so require, may by proclamation include within the term enemy. If you pay attention to that amnesty oath, okay, you are proclaiming your freedom as being native indigenous to the land, okay? You claiming your rights back. And you're saying with this, we're gonna get to that part too, okay? Because Andrew Johnson put in place so that everybody can just go and take that oath, whether signed by the president or not. The Christmas amnesty said that all you had to do was claim it. That's the reason why you got the amnesty oath, okay? So when we look through the proper paperwork that we're doing, we'll see why when we go through this Trading with the Enemy Act. Okay, so you got the allied enemies here, the definitions, the word person. All of us have been, I believe, on this journey long enough to know that a person is deemed to be an individual, a partnership, association, a company, or other unincorporated body of individuals or corporation or body politic, okay? So any person, your LLC is considered a person, your corporation is considered a person. Whatever you start that is a company or association is considered a person. The words United States, as used herein, shall be deemed to mean all land and water. So I want y'all to really pay attention right now, this part right here. Continental or insular in any way within the jurisdiction of the United States or occupied by the military or naval forces thereof. So you know that we have our Navy. You know that we have our military. We're talking about on ground and on water. If we watch the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, great example of them being onshore and offshore. Okay, you're on jurisdiction. That's their jurisdiction. So we never talked about, they just now included the continental United States, which means that continent itself, the land is seized. So we can go forward, we can do paperwork all day long, we can do affidavits all day long, but like I said, if you don't know how to play the game Monopoly, you're gonna lose, okay? Because you had to first go to the bank. The bank is what we want to call the enemy, okay? Because that's what they're governing, the bank. And we finna see that in the next definitions, right? The words, let me drop down a little bit. To trade, as used herein, shall be deemed to mean pay, satisfy, compromise, or give security for the payment or satisfaction of any debt or obligation. B, draw, accept, pay, present for acceptance or payment, or endorse any negotiable instrument or choose in action. C, enter into, carry on, complete, or perform any contract, agreement, or obligation. D, buy or sell, loan or extend credit, trade in, deal with, exchange, transmit, transfer, assign, or otherwise dispose of or receive any form of property. So this right here just said everything we do in life. This means that we're trading, period. We're trading because we cannot live without paying for something. We buy our food. We're not growing our own food. We buy our food at the grocery store. We're buying fuel when we put gas in our car. Loans or extend credit. Everybody checking on their credit score. Everybody wants the perfect credit. Exchange, transfer, assign any property. You're buying stuff all day long because you're a consumer. But let's go back to letter C. To enter into, carry on, complete, or perform any contract, agreement, or obligation. You have contracts, agreements, and obligations that you did not sign up for. One was being your social security number. You did not sign up for that. By the time you learned how to read, you already had one. As a baby, you already had one. You was put into this obligation, into this debt. That's why it says in the Bible that we were born into sin. We were not born into sin as we think the Christians would put it, as into evil or doing something wrong. We were born into debt that we had nothing to do with, that was here existing before we existed. E, to have any form of business or commercial communication or intercourse with alien enemies within the United States. We can go on and on and on. It shall be unlawful for any person in the United States except with a license of the president granted to such person or to the enemy or ally of enemy as provided in this act, to trade or attempt to trade either directly or indirectly with, to, or from, or for, or on account of, or on behalf of, or for the benefit of any other person with knowledge or reasonable cause to believe that such other person is an enemy or ally of enemy, or is conducting or taking part in such trade directly or indirectly, for or on account of, or on behalf of, or for the benefit of an enemy or ally of enemy. That's why you go into court. That's why you go into court. Except with the license of the president granted for the person to do business with this enemy. That's why sometimes when people go to court and they start arguing, let me see your license. Let me see your license. And they say, you don't need a license to practice law. That's what they're saying here. You're an enemy for any person except with the license of the president to transport or attempt to transport into or from the United States, or for any owner, master, or other person in charge of a vessel of American registry to transport or attempt to transport from any place to any other place, any subject or citizen of an enemy or ally of enemy nation, with knowledge or reasonable cause to believe that person transported or attempted to be transported in such subject is such subject or citizen. This is the reason why what am I thinking about? The Hague. That's why the Hague Convention exists. when you go and get your birth certificate authenticated, they tell you to choose a non-Hague country. Well, what was the reason? Did anybody ever explain what the reason was for the non-Hague? The non-Hague country is because of this, what I just said right here. What I just read says that it's unlawful for you to take a subject citizen or any registry of that citizen to another country. So you can't go and say, okay, well, I'm gonna go and I want to do an authentication for the UK because they part of the Hague. So you want to choose a non-Hague country because then they can request their property back. That's how you get the proper passport, because you're removing that registry out of jurisdiction. I think y'all missed that part. I don't know what kind of teachings or knowledge anyone has or had on this call, but to be able to break that down, you have to know why these things exist and why people are doing things the way that they're doing it. Okay. So for any person other than a person in the service of the United States government or of the government of any nation, except that of an enemy or ally of enemy nation, other than such persons or class of persons as may be exempted hereunder by the president or by such person as he may direct, to send or take out of or bring into or attempt to send or take out of or bring into the United States any letter or other writing or tangible form of communication except in a regular course of mail. And it shall be unlawful for any person to send, take, or transmit, or attempt to send, take, or transmit out of the United States any letter or other writing, book, map, plan, or other paper, picture, or any telegram, cablegram, or wireless message, or other form of communication intended for or to be delivered directly or indirectly to an enemy or ally of enemy. Well, we do this all day long. All day long, we do this. Okay, because don't we send mail, right? We send mail, we send communication, we talk, we do all these things, okay? And they're saying that it's unlawful to send any writing, book, map, plan, or other paper, picture. But it's funny because I read the same thing over here. In West Africa, they have the same laws. They're under the same jurisdiction. Okay, so it tells you that it's just not, dedicated to one place. It's more than that. Provided, however, that any person may send, take, or transmit out of the United States anything herein forbidden, if he shall first submit the same to the president or to such officer as the president may direct, and shall obtain the license or consent of the president. Okay, let's talk about this. Now we get into, you have to obtain the license or the consent of the president. Under such rules and regulations and with such exemptions as shall be prescribed by the president. Well, what did the president prescribe? That's going to be your next question, okay? Whenever during the present war, the president shall deem that the public safety demands it, he may cause to be censored under such rules and regulations as he may from time to time establish communications by mail, cable, radio, or other means of transmission passing between the United States and any foreign country he may from time to time specify, or which may be carried by any vessel or other means of transportation touching at any port, place, or territory of the United States and bound to or from any foreign country. Any person who willfully evades or attempts to evade the submission of such communication to such censorship or willfully uses or attempts to use any code or other device for the purpose of concealing from such censorship the intended meaning of such communication shall be punished as provided by Section 16 of this Act. Termination of the office of alien property custodian and transfer of functions to Attorney General. So this just reminds me of one thing that somebody said on one of Leisha's posts on TikTok. Well, this isn't true because there is no alien property custodian. I said they should stay off Google and they should read the law. Because it just told you that the functions of the alien property custodian was transferred to the Attorney General. So I hope y'all just pick that up. Reestablishment and termination of the office of the alien property custodian during World War II. See notes under Section 6. Okay. Presidential powers transfer. All powers conferred upon the president by subsection A of this section were delegated to the Secretary of the Treasury. Did we pick that up? By memorandum of the president, dated in February of 1942. Transfer of president's powers under subsection A to the alien property custodian. Okay, it's telling you where to go and get this, right? Where to go and find these things out. Licenses to enemy or ally of enemy insurance or reinsurance companies. Change of name, doing business in the United States. Every enemy or ally of enemy insurance or reinsurance company and every enemy or ally of enemy doing business within the United States through an agency or branch office or otherwise made within 30 days after the passage of this act apply to the president for a license to continue to do business. And within 30 days after such application, the president may enter an order either granting or refusing to grant such license. The license, if granted, may be temporary or otherwise. And for such period of time, it may contain such provisions and conditions regulating the business, agencies, managers, or trustees, and the control and disposition of the funds of the company or of such enemy or ally of enemy as the president shall deem necessary for the safety of the United States. And any license granted hereunder may be revoked or re-granted or renewed in such manner and at such times as the president shall determine. Provided, however, that reasonable notice of his intent to refuse to grant the license or to revoke the license granted to any reinsurance company shall be given by him to all insurance companies incorporated within the United States and known to the president to be doing business with such reinsurance company. Okay, you don't go into a court case without there being a reinsurance company involved. They are the ones that bond the case. Okay, so they are the ones that's issuing the securities on the case and going into the estate to fund them. Provided that further, that no insurance company organized within the United States shall be obligated to continue any existing contract entered into prior to the beginning of the war in any enemy or ally of enemy insurance or reinsurance company, but any such company may abrogate and cancel any such contract by serving 30 days notice in writing upon the president of his election to abrogate such contract. I just want to interject for just a second. Your name, your estate was also turned into a company. I just want to throw that out there. Just a couple of nuggets so that nobody is confused about what we talk about here. So as much as we want to dive deep into things, you have to really dive deep into what's being said. Okay. So when I first read through this, I kept going, what is all this talk about a license, a license, a license? You know, like what are we discussing about license? Let me give 1 second. I keep getting notices about whatever AI is recording. Give me 1 second. I want to pull something else up real quick. I'm gonna put my screen back up as soon as I get what I'm looking for up on the screen. I'm gonna show y'all something. So I'm just going to put this information up for the purposes of this call. Okay, so I don't want anyone to get confused about where they're going to send anything to. Where's my screen share? Okay, can y'all see this?
Yes.
So I just Googled the address of the particular office that we are discussing on this call right here, okay? I'm putting it on the call intentionally and I'm screen sharing it intentionally so that you guys are not confused about what's what, okay? So the agency is OFAC, that's the Office of Foreign Asset Control. The department is the Department of Treasury, and the building is the Treasury Annex Building, okay? It has the address here, and you're gonna attention to the licensing division. It even has the phone number, okay? So I have this up intentionally so that y'all can grab this info and you know who you and what you're sending a notice to. So this is the most important thing right here because of what we're talking about on this call, the Trading with the Enemy Act. So when you're going through the licensing division, you're not confused about what building, where it is, you know, things like that. So I'm also going to pull something up. Okay, here we go. I wanted to share this too, just so that you all are aware of what we're talking about. Okay,
So here, do y'all see this?
Yes.
The U.S. Treasury Annex building was officially named the Freedmen's Bank Building, January 7, 2016. So a little over 10 years ago. Still have the same location, okay? But the historical significance, okay, is to honor the original Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company, which helped newly emancipated African Americans build financial stability after the Civil War. If you do a deep dive on this, it's way more to the significance of this, okay? It goes much, much deeper, way back. It goes way back on why this is significant, okay? But I'm gonna let y'all do y'all homework on that. I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there, or of the name of the building, okay? Because a couple of people who I know actually went there in person. So yeah, I'll talk about that on another call at another time. But that's just to give you the outlook and the visual of what that looks like. But it's supposed to be helping, it's for the help of the freed people. Okay, so you don't just get free, you free yourself by what you are about to submit to them in writing, which I did say to someone else. I'm going to share this call to a few other people too from the previous group, specifically because they didn't get a chance to do this particular call. I'm doing this call intentionally for y'all because, and this is jumping to the end, because I'm not sure that even half the people in this group have a trust. I don't think anyone is ready for this stage, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you anyway. So when you get the recording and you get to the step you're supposed to be at, you won't be lost. But let me go back to where I was in my PDF and get us back up here on the screen. I'm looking for something in particular. I'm gonna go to section 6. I don't know if y'all have this up yet. Let me drop this in Leasia email. So Leasia can drop it inside this WhatsApp group. Mm-hmm.
Are you done with the call?
I'm not done with my call. Why? Here, you want some more food? Take. Okay, so I just sent that out. Leasia can go ahead and grab that from the email and put it inside the PDF inside the group for y'all. So I am jumping to section 6 real quick. And I need y'all to dive deep on section 6. Okay, so let's go into number 6. Don't start this thing. This thing is saying my internet is bad. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The general powers and duties of the alien property custodian. The president is authorized to appoint and prescribe the duties of an official to be known as the alien property custodian, who shall be empowered to receive all money and property in the United States due or belonging to an enemy or ally of enemy, which may be paid, conveyed, transferred, assigned, or delivered to said custodian under the provisions of this act, sections 1 through 39, and to hold, administer, and account for the same under the general direction of the president and as provided in this act, said sections. The alien property custodian shall give such bond or bonds and in such form and amounts and with such security as the president shall prescribe. The president may further employ in DC, the District of Columbia, and elsewhere and fix the compensation of such clerks, attorneys, investigators, accountants, and all employees as he may find necessary for the due administration of the provisions of this act. Pause. What did I just say? So they are contracted to go into your account. So if you sign an attorney, right, and the attorney says they're going to take your case pro bono, okay, it's not pro bono. They still get paid. Why? Because they have to under the bonds, under the account. So they're still going to get paid. Some people, you know, they trip me out because they're like, oh, I paid my court fees, and the court fees didn't go to nobody in the court, which makes no sense to pay court fees. If you're going to do anything, file a fee waiver, because they're getting the money from your estate anyway. You can't pay a debt with debt. The FRNs is considered debt notes. It's not considered actual payment. They are taking money that they deem necessary in the national interest, including but not limited to the power to direct, manage, supervise, control, or vest with respect to any business enterprise within the United States, which is a national or designated enemy country, and any property of any nature whatsoever, owned or controlled by, payable or deliverable to, held on behalf or on account of or owing to, or which is evidence of ownership or control of any such business enterprise or any interest in any nature whatsoever in such business enterprise held by an enemy country or national thereof. B, any other business enterprise within the United States, which is a national of a foreign country, or any property of any nature whatsoever owned or controlled by, payable or deliverable to, held on behalf of or on account of or owing to, or which is evidence of ownership or control to any such business enterprise in any interest of any nature whatsoever in such business enterprise held by a foreign country or national thereof. When it is determined by the custodian that he has certified to his Secretary of the Treasury that it is necessary in the national interest with respect to such business enterprise, either 1, to provide for the protection of the property, 2, to change personnel or supervise the employment policies, or 3, to liquidate, reorganize, or sell, 4, to direct the management in respect to operations, or 5, to vest. Pause right here. So the custodian has the power to say that either we're going to protect this property, we're going to liquidate and sell this property. Do y'all understand what's going on? Yeah. Like, I want this to be like super clear, like crystal clear as glass. It is in them to consult with the Treasury, which I just showed you, the Treasury Annex. Okay, they have all of that. What is necessary in the national interest with respect to such business. I'm going to say it again. Your name was turned into a business.
Mm-hmm.
To provide for the protection of the property. Okay, so when you get ready to do your steps with OFAC, they then see all that you have done with the paper trail, all the steps you have taken to remove their jurisdiction, because that's your choice. You still have that free will. And if you've updated your status, especially with detaching from the property, and especially with the Department of Commerce, the Secretary of Commerce, which is USPTO. I don't know if y'all getting what's happening on this call. or they can change personnel or supervise the policies, which they do all the time. Okay, because they change how you can get through them pearly gates all the time. The moment a flood of people start sending stuff, at the same time with they lovely templates that they didn't have sense enough to go handwrite, they go and they say that you're a terrorist, and they start marking you as their enemy, and then strange stuff start happening. Okay, so that's their choice. When you go file bankruptcy, what did you do? You put your estate in their hands, and they decided whether they should liquidate, reorganize, or sell your stuff, right?
Right.
When you got a foreclosure case, it's their choice also to say if they're going to reorganize your mortgage contract, if they're going to sell it. Or to direct the management in respect to operations, which is why everything starts getting transferred. You turn around and you got a new servicer. Things change just randomly. All of this is done through the alien property custodian via getting that permission from the Treasury. Let's go to C. Any other property or interest within the United States or any nature whatsoever, owned or controlled by, payable or deliverable to, held on behalf of or on account of or owing to, or which is evidence of ownership or controlled by a designated enemy country or national thereof. What did I say earlier? The Germans, Deutschland, is owning everything that we do over there. That with respect to any such country or national other than Germany or Japan or any national thereof, such property or interest shall not include cash, bullion, monies, currencies, deposits, credits, credit instruments, foreign exchange, and securities, except to the extent that the alien property custodian determines that such cash, bullion, monies, currencies, deposits, credits, credit instruments, foreign exchange, or securities are necessary for the maintenance or safeguarding of other property belonging to the same designated enemy country or the same national thereof and subject to vesting pursuant to Section 2 hereof. Why did we just exempt other than Germany or Japan? Didn't I just say it's owned by Germans? Didn't I just say that? Okay. All right. I'm gonna let y'all dive deep on that. I'm gonna let y'all go take this apart and destroy it to pieces the way I did. Any patent application, design patent application, copyright application, trademark or trademark application, or rights related thereto in such any foreign country or national thereof has any interest in any property of any nature whatsoever, including without limitations, royalties and licensing fees payable or held with respect thereto, and any interest of any nature whatsoever held therein in any foreign country or national thereof. Did we just miss that? It's in their jurisdiction to decide should they protect this property. Let me go back up because I don't want y'all to miss what we're talking about here. The alien property custodian has to certify with the Secretary of Treasury with respect to the national interest of this business, whether to protect this property, change personnel, supervise, liquidate, sell, or direct management in respect to operations. Now we come back down here and they say they got to go get the clearance. Why do you think the trademark take a year?
Mhm.
Why do you think the processing takes so long? I've done plenty of copyrights. They don't mean nothing. They ain't did nothing. But that Secretary of Commerce, though, with these applications, they have that jurisdiction to say either we're going to protect this property or we're going to reorganize this property.
Mhm.
So with every denied application, don't you know something is going on in the background? They're literally making the decision whether they going to protect your name or not. Oh, let me keep it moving. Almost went there. Any ship or vessel or interest therein in which any foreign country or national thereof has an interest. F, any property or any nature whatsoever which is in the process of administration by any person acting under judicial supervision or which is in partition, liable, condemnation, or any similar proceedings and which is payable or deliverable to or claimed by a designated enemy country or national thereof, when the alien property custodian determines to exercise any power and authority conferred upon him by this section with respect to any of the foregoing property over which the Secretary of Treasury is exercising any control, and so notifies the Secretary of the Treasury in writing, the Secretary of Treasury shall release all control of such property, except as authorized or directed by the alien property custodian. So is that not what y'all giving? Notice in writing, right?
Mhm.
The Secretary of the Treasury shall release all control of the property, except if he's directed by the alien property custodian, the Attorney General, to do otherwise. So you're gonna send notice. Let me just get straight to the point, okay? Because I could just read this all day and that defeats the purpose of me giving it to y'all. Listen, you're gonna go pick this apart. You're gonna go do a deep dive, do your studying. It's only 39 pages. Okay, it's only 39 pages. Print it out and get you a highlighter, right? And I want you to go through and highlight your important pieces that you need. I want y'all to do that so that you have your notes and you are aware of what the law states that's supposed to be happening in your world. Okay? When you get through picking this apart, you're going to feel some kind of way.
Mhm.
All property of the Alien Property Division of the Department of Justice, including records, files, supplies, furniture, and equipment, and all funds, securities, chooses in action, real estate, patents, trademarks, copyrights, and all other property of whatsoever kind held or administered by the Attorney General under the and pursuant to the Trading with the Enemy Act as amended are hereby transferred to the alien property custodian to be administered and disposed of under his supervision and direction. I just read number 2 over here to the right, if y'all confused about where I'm at, because I'm just kind of skipping through. Like I said, it's something in particular I need to pinpoint before we get off this call. This is not my highlighted version. I don't have it in my hand. So I'm going through exactly, I'm trying to pinpoint exactly where I want to take y'all, and then I'm gonna get up off of here and we're gonna talk about it. I need the I'm looking for the amnesty oath. Somebody found it before me, let me know. Hey, go take that to the kitchen, y'all. They're gonna drop that pizza. What's wrong with you?
Shoot.
Okay.
Mom, can you play with this?
Shh. They are in the kitchen. In the kitchen. Okay, look at number 2 over to the left, y'all, on your screen. The alien property custodian shall not exercise any power and authority conferred upon him by any other executive order with respect to diplomatic and consular property within the United States owned or controlled by Germany or Japan, except so far as the Secretary of State releases his authority over such diplomatic and consular property under this order, and so notifies the alien property custodian in writing. We have those same 2 again. Y'all ever notice that Japan ain't never into nothing?
Mhm.
Japan ain't never got nothing going on. They ain't never in the media. They ain't never in the news. They're silent as can be. Just as Germany. Germany's silent too. Okay, they got their people rebelling. Okay, I don't know which one worse. They have their sovereign groups as well. But just look at this. I want y'all to pay attention that they keep exempting Germany and Japan throughout this entire act is exempting them. Okay. Let me drop. Give me a second. I'm finna get this point I'm looking for. Because I got to show y'all this. Oh, I just missed something. I wanted to talk to y'all about this too. So it basically talks about you trying to basically cancel some debts and to pay things, no conveyance, transfer, delivery, payment, or loan or money or other property in violation of this section of Section 3 hereof made after the passage of this act. So it's basically saying, and not under a license as herein. So a lot of people are doing processes, right?
Mhm.
I just want to dive deep and tell y'all how this is going to help you understand why some people can't get through with some private processes. Because they skip this. They skip this step. Okay. This is totally missing from their private processes because they try to move around the Attorney General. They have not given notice to Attorney General or OFAC. So even if you give notice to OFAC without you communicating this same thing to the alien property custodian, the Attorney General, OFAC don't have to release you because the Secretary of Treasury is only going to do what the Attorney General says they can do. So I remember sitting in my car one day, this is about 2 years ago, here in Africa, and on the radio, they were talking about people getting their inheritance in their private property. And so, of course, my antennas went up, so I'm all ears. And the lady goes, well, it's simple. Without them making the application and giving notice to the Attorney General, they're not going to receive what they're supposed to get because it's held by the Attorney General. And I was like, are they really saying this on the radio?
So I was just floored because at home, people make private processes seem like it's a private thing. But over here, like I said, every other building say something, something trust. So how come we have been so manipulated into trying to believe that these people are addressing us when the whole time they're addressing the estate? So I'm just like, it's been a secret at home, but over here it's just in your face. It's out in the open. It's not a secret. And the way they were discussed, they were having a open dialogue on the radio, a man and a woman on this radio channel. And they were just discussing how people can go after their assets, particularly the word assets kept coming up. If you want your assets, then you have to write to the Attorney General and describe those assets and let them know that you're looking for your stuff, and so your property can be returned to you. But without consulting the Attorney General, that's not going to happen. I was like, what the what? So I know what that means, because in every country, there's an Attorney General. Everywhere you go, there's an Attorney General. So for us to disregard the major step that matters means that you don't really know what you're doing. Or should I say, you got bits and pieces of the puzzle and the information when it wasn't fully disclosed to you. Or like I say, some people get a little bit of information, which is dangerous, and then you take it and run with it. So if you got a little information and you took it and ran with it, then you set yourself up to not succeed because you didn't have the whole picture. You didn't have every piece to this puzzle. But by all means, you have to discuss with the proper channels what your intent is. That's what I read in this Trading with the Enemy Act in the beginning. It says you must put in writing your intent. Without that intent, somebody kept asking me, can I get the OFAC template? I said, to be honest with you, I don't have an OFAC template. I don't have many templates at all, to be honest. But I want you to have the knowledge so that you can decide to write whoever you want and know exactly who you are and be able to articulate that. If you can't go in and say what you want, what your intent is, what your position is within this whole grand scheme of things, then you're not ready. You haven't studied enough. Now, I've never been one of those teachers to say, study and show thyself approved. Like, you can't possibly just go through all of this with hell breaking loose at the same time and think that you're just supposed to know what to go pick up and know what to read and know what's going to be your answers for coming out. There's no way. I can give y'all, there's a video I'm gonna drop in the group in a little bit, going through Title 50, and the presenter is not his work. It's my friend's work that's in Jersey. But this guy who he was also connected to had a number of people go down to OFAC. A group went to OFAC and a group went to the Comptroller of Currency. So through the Comptroller and through OFAC, they ended up collecting NDAs. And with these NDAs, they went cold turkey, silent, off the map, off the grid, I believe out the country, to go be peaceful.
but them going into that office allow for them to be targeted right there in person to not talk. Some people from my own personal group went into a different Treasury office that was clearly unlabeled when they got there, but it was just something with an address on my phone one day that I woke up. And I was like, I didn't know that there was this Treasury department in New York, New York. We don't ever hear about the government's accounting office being, and then given the address in New York, because it's not listed. It's not listed on a building. It's not listed there. It just happened to be on my phone. And so I was talking to a couple of my members from my group, and I was like, something strange happened to me this morning. And I was like, y'all mind taking a trip? Like, I need y'all to go, drive to this place, take a road trip, whatever you need, I got you, but take a road trip and go find out, like, be my eyes. And they were like, it's high security. There is nothing on the door. There's no name on the building, but on my phone, it gave me the exact location. And so I'm like, when stuff like this happens to me, it's a revelation of something. So I need to know what's there. And they found out and got sent right on up out of there. They got sent right on out the door. And they was like, yeah, we don't talk to the public. We don't do anything with the public. But my phone already told me what's happening behind the door. So I was like, this is amazing. Like, stuff just randomly happens, and I just be, calling my people up like, hey, can you go check this out? Go do this, go do that, go take this over here, take this over there. And they be like, all right. So there are things that you can do, okay, that will completely take you out and have them to say that you're in the protective status. Not that there's going to be a reorganization or a liquidation or a sale of the property or all that good stuff, but a protection of this property. So that's where I came to today with this call, because too many are going through something. Like I always say, nobody just wakes up and like, oh, I want to be free today. Something is going on that prompts you to know that you're supposed to be free and you're supposed to come out, and you're, all these things are supposed to be happening. So I want to, I'm gonna cut this a little short because I got another call coming up, but let me hear from y'all. Talk about it. What y'all feel, what y'all want to do, where y'all at with it. I have not talked to many of you on a one-on-one basis to know where you even stand. As far as I'm concerned, everybody in this group they just here. So I don't really know what's happening. Like, I need y'all to engage, interact, say what's up, what's going on, what's in your mind. Now that you have this information and you have a little insight on who you're about to communicate with next, you have the location, you have the address, you have all that good stuff. And I want to hear from y'all now. Where's your mind at?
I'll speak. First of all, I want to say hi to everyone. In my background, there's a little bit of noise, so I need to just stand to the side. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. I am standing in a space that I understand what's going on. I had a couple of months in a row, as I shared with you, in regards to my property. They did a sale last week. However, I'm smart enough to understand what's going on, and I have it under control for this week. So as far as the processes that we're going through, I understand them. I should be on peace this week. And as far as the finances, to be able to move forward with the things that I need to pay for, I will be there. So That's my input. I thank you for today. I got it.
Awesome, beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for your input. I love your energy. It's so high. Get it?
Thank you.
Prophetess, I just want to say, I've known about Trading with the Enemy Act, and House Joint Resolution and how all that ties together, but not on this level. I studied it on a level of, tribal and here's why, and not redemption. What is it called? Discharge, like you talked about earlier, discharge and getting stuff paid off. None of it ever worked. So I'm gonna have to now, as you went down and did a kind of a deep dive on its surface, if you can call it that, I'm gonna have to go back and reread and really focus on these 39 or 69, whatever, how many pages you said it was, and really break it down because as I can see this just from this call, it's more than, well, process is out of the question now. It's more than a process, it's more of a lifestyle because I'm thinking now down the road, if anybody were to come back or anybody were to say anything or even, look at us the wrong way, we need to be able to understand and explain this to a level to where a third grader can understand all the way up to, the highest of the judges, Supreme Court. So I really thank you for this call. It's eye-opening for me, and I'm going to have to go back and do some due diligence, and much research is required.
Awesome, beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else care to share?
Hi, Dee. This is Ty. How are you?
Oh,
Awesome.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for the call. And I just had a quick question. I put it in the chat, but I wasn't sure if you saw. So I wanted to know, what do we have to have recorded or sent out prior to sending the OFAC letter? And then do we send that certified mail, return receipt, or can we use certificate of mailing?
I would use certified mail. Anytime unless you put something of monetary value, otherwise you can be arrested and imprisoned for mail fraud. Be very careful with how you mail things. Mailing something of no value, registered mail, is wrong. But when you put something like a security, a bond, a birth certificate, it has value in it. Do not do that certified, overnight, priority, none of that. Make sure that's registered mail because it's money inside, which is considered lawful money. Okay, something that you would put stamps on. If you had to mail something like that, put that registered mail. It has a value inside. But when you're going to send this in, I just explained to another sister that you want an actual living person to get your package and have to read it. Otherwise, if you type everything up, they're going to scan it, a computer's going to read it, and then you're going to be categorized, and then your mail may not have any attention to it. You have to handwrite this notice that you're going to give to them so that a human being will read it, not a computer. So it's not so much of like I said, I don't really do templates, but me giving y'all verbiage or like how to put this, in writing to them for your claim. You want to make sure that when you do it, it's going to get into the hands of someone who's going to read through it and then get back to you. That's very important. Having all those other little tidbits that we did throughout the other weeks is paramount. It's important. Don't start this. This is the end of the road process. Okay, this is the ending process. This is the last straw process. So because you're going in to make a claim, you can't go in to make a claim if you're not ready to make that claim. Being ready means that you tied up all the loose ends, you've corrected your status, you've separated yourself from the corporation. You don't want to do business. You no longer want to trade with the enemy. Me personally, you have to see the name as the estate, and that's a different person from you. You're the one with the heirship and the claimant rights. Okay, you're being occupants of that estate, but the estate itself is dead. Any estate is for a dead person. Okay, so because the estate is deemed to be dead, and in commerce, it's a non-living corporation. You have to remove yourself from that whole little box and say that I'm the only one with the right to claim this. But then your paper trail should show and reflect that you have that right. Like the conveyance of the BC, the mailing it to the estate from the beginning with that register mail number. All those steps are important. It's a piece to this puzzle. And all of those steps should you put in writing. That listen, on this date, the real estate property file number such and such and such from the state of whatever, okay, the state of Texas, file number 104, I think 104 is California, right? 104, state of California, real estate, because that's generally what it is. It's real estate. We have been confused to look at real estate as just houses. It's not just houses. It's literal real estate. And because you are a real living being, that's what it's representing. You. When the lady at the county recorder, told me and Leisha, we don't touch real estate. We were looking confused, like, real estate? What are you talking about? Like, it's a birth certificate. She said it's real estate. I said, oh, excuse me, teach me something then. But she said something that stuck with me, because not everybody in that office is going to know that. And not everyone is going to be bold enough to say it. And at that time, I didn't know exactly what she meant. I know today. I know now. But at that time, I was just starting. So, we grow and we learn all these different tactics and things and ways to do it. But I'm going to say that you need to be in a proper status and standing. You need to be in the right place.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So with this group, this is our last class, and I wanted to know if we can still put questions in the chat. Is the chat still live, or do we have to all move over to Telegram?
I'm gonna say if you need one-on-one assistance, the consultation links are there. Group 3 has been disabled. I deleted group 3. Not intentionally, but they was kind of all over the place. So, I didn't really want to deal with the group outside of the mentorship.
Okay.
But that's another reason why I started the Telegram, to continue anyone that's maybe a little behind or not on the same pace or track as everyone else, and gave it that 1 year stretch so that anybody that feels compelled to study with us can continue. It just made it $1 a day. That's why I set the price at $365. So $1 a day, get what you need, do what you have to do. This mentorship was even higher than that, in only 5 weeks. So I've done the best I can do with trying to stay in touch. with keeping everybody abreast of what's going on and what to do next. But if you feel that need, then the consultation link is always there.
Okay, it's some questions I have that's in the chat that weren't answered, and I know you're busy, so I didn't know if you want them sent to you privately or you just want to keep them in the chat. You want me to resend them? Because it's some stuff that we were kind of going through that I didn't quite understand, and I never got a clear answer on them.
Okay, is that something that you want to talk about, or is something you want to pinpoint that you sent to me?
Yeah, I can talk about it. It was just like questions in regards to like when we're filing, for instance, we talked about the deeds. We're looking to file the deeds, and then we have some people that were in a situation where foreclosure or just simply protecting their property. My question was, do we still need to place those $1 stamps, 10 $1 stamps on those particular deeds as well, or are we just filing notices? Because I know you've talked a few times about mixing public and private, so I didn't want to mix public and private when, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, well, it's one of those things where it's like a lot of this stuff isn't written, so it's nowhere to really go and read it. So I'm kind of like trying to use my intuition and my thought process on what I did read, but I just never seen anything like, okay, yeah, you need to put this on the record, or really you should keep it in your own ledger and put a notice that it was done. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I'm kind of lost right there.
Okay. Your own ledger, nobody can see.
Right.
No one knows what's in your ledger.
Right.
So that helps nothing.
So affidavit
that's you making your own private books.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's private, no one is on notice of what you're doing.
That's what I asked. Do I do it and then send a notice? That was the question.
But you gotta think about what you're trying to do. If you're doing trust documents or recording, that's private. Okay, nobody needs to be on notice of what's in your trust. But if you're trying to convey property, there's a tax assessor, there's a county deeds office that has to get that deed. So it has to be recorded there on the public record. The same way when you bought the house, it has to be recorded with that same county. If my house is in Cook County in Chicago, I cannot go record something about my house down in Georgia in Cobb County. Who knows and who cares? And the property is not even located there. So it does nothing for me. It does absolutely nothing. But when I go record in Cook County, then guess what? The status of that house changes because I have recorded an interest in that property in the county where the property sits. So that's no difference than I'm me saying, okay, if you were born in New York and you're living in Florida, once you have relocated to Florida and you did a change of address form with the post office, which is still part of the Treasury, and you did that change of address down to Florida, your estate also follows you to Florida. So whatever you're doing in terms of your BC and your records and your affidavits and whatever else you're going to claim on the public record, Florida has your estate. Once you move, you relocate, your whole estate transfers with you. That's the same thing with people that's from abroad. Some people were not born in the United States. There's many, many people who were not born on US soil, but maybe on a US air base. If you were born on a military base, or you got a BC from the Department of State because you were born outside the country, that don't matter, because the country still gave you a birth certificate and still gave you your citizenship. So then, like I said, you will put that on the record of where you're living.
So when it comes down to recording, you have to make a public record of what you're recording.
I agree with that. But I think maybe I'm getting mixed up in how I'm saying it. I'm looking to make sure I don't mix public and private. That's number one. So based on what you just said, it sounds like you're saying, okay, yes, you need to put it on the record, or you can record it in your own ledger and give notice that it's been recorded.
Nobody can see your ledger.
Again, I get that, but if you give notice, they know it's recorded in your ledger.
Yeah,
So
but
is
can they
that
go
not
see it?
sufficing is what I'm asking. Does that not
Can
suffice?
they go see it?
I can point them to it. I can put a yes. I can give it to them. They can see it because it's a
So
public.
if they can go see it, that's something that's public.
If they can go,
We're saying the same thing.
No. So okay, my ledger is a IPFS ledger. So that is a blockchain ledger.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. You're cutting in and out.
Huh? You can't hear me?
You cutting in and out for me.
Oh, okay. I don't know what to do. Let me just close this portion out. Let me see if that helps. Is this better? Hold on. Okay. Can you hear me? I just closed one of the Zoom. The Zoom is acting crazy. Hello?
Oh, I'm muting my phone so you can talk, so I can see if I hear you better.
Can you hear me? So you can hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I'm saying is, for me, my ledger is synonymous with what you would call a book entry only ledger. So I have this ledger. It's private, but still public. It's not necessarily, it's just my ledger. Same thing as DTC or, any other ledger. It's there, it's on the record. So now if I'm recording this and I give access to it, anybody can see it. I'm just giving notice that this ledger exists. So I'm going to file this notice and I'm going to put this QR code on the notice where if you really want to see it, you can just scan the QR code and go to it. It's not necessarily quote unquote private, but it's not public either because I'm not promoting it. So my question is, would that suffice or is it mandatory for that particular deed for that property? It could be a house, it could be a car, it could be an account. It's a deed. It's a deed to something. So if we use that deed, or if I'm going to record that deed, the next thing is, does each deed have to have that $1 stamp on it as consideration? So that's kind of two questions. One, can the notice suffice? Two, does the $1 stamp, 10 $1 stamps have to be on every single deed that we claim or just on the estate deed? I yield.
Okay, so first I'm gonna address your final question. Anything that is being conveyed or transferred, you have to give lawful consideration. Yes. You cannot record multiple things on one deed, on one recording. Each piece of property that is conveyed, the conveyance has consideration of $10 to pass title. You can't pass title without giving money. I think that answers that question. Your first question, my question would be, does the state have an interest as well to the property you're talking about? So say we speaking of a car. Number one, do you still have a driving license? Number two, do you still have state of something plates on the car? if the car has a state registration, the state has interest. So before you can pass title, say to your trust or to one of your businesses or whatever, however you're going to transfer it, okay, you can't do that conveyance without making that a public record of sale, that it was sold and transferred. And then you give the state whatever notice you need to let them know that, hey, this property is conveyed. Now, I'm going to say this about, because this call may branch into people who have children, or what they would say is our wards of the state, okay? Because everyone is considered a ward while you're in minor status. Even if you're an adult, you're a ward of that state. They look at you as subject property. To be able to convey your BC to your trust, it goes on the county recording office records. It is real estate. It should be listed in real estate on the land records, because you have an inheritance and entitlement to the land. You have ties to the land. So if you look at the constructive notice, it says land record only. You're taking that piece of property, that registration certificate from the seas, from admiralty or maritime law, back to the land where it belongs, where you have rights. So if you find that it works for you to use your private ledger, by all means, use it, give them the QR code, continue as you were. But for me and my house, we own the land records at the county where we came from.
And that's another thing that you said. You said you're on the land records on the county that you came from, but if you're a state, so say for instance, like you mentioned, the people that move and transfer the estate, right? I'm from Tennessee, but I live in Georgia. So if I'm going to record, I'm going to record in Georgia because I've been here for 11 years, but I need to still give notice to Tennessee, correct?
No, I didn't say that. I said wherever you live is where your estate has moved to permanently. I didn't say that your estate is tied between Tennessee and Georgia. I said if you moved and you did a change of address, that is the Treasury. They are the Secretary of the Treasury. They are the ones connected to the alien property custodian. So if you live in Georgia, then you put it on the record of the county where you live.
Okay. That sums it up. I appreciate it. Gratitude. Yay.
No problem. Anybody else got questions?
This is Ty again. You mentioned the affidavit and the memorial of estate letter. Will you share that with us?
I thought I did. You don't have it?
No, it's definitely not there. Thank you.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
If you could send it to me too, I appreciate it.
Definitely will.
Thank you.
Is that something to share with everyone or the ones in the new group?
I'm gonna just send it to whoever tells me that they didn't get it, because I thought we passed it out. I might be wrong. Might have been the other group. Sorry.
Yes, I didn't get it. This is Empress. I would love a copy. I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, so I want y'all to continue on the there is your property back, which is section 9. So I'm just pointing that out. I was going to go back into pulling up the act, but I'm getting a little short on time because we finna start this the other group. So I'm gonna have to jump off of her Zoom.
Can I say something real quick before you leave, if you don't mind?
Uh-huh.
I appreciate you going through that Trading with the Enemy Act. I'm not gonna lie, I've read that 11 times since 2018 when somebody told me to read it, and it's still stuff popping up that you pointed out that didn't make sense that's making sense now. And it's kind of like what the young man said earlier. People, like he's made payments with things or, settle some debts. My debts I've settled, some hit or miss, but mostly for my mother. When I'm settling her debt, they take it, no question. Mine, they want to think about it or whatever. But I appreciate the going through that, pointing out certain things. I would have never seen it, and I have read, like I said, the Trading with the Enemy Act more times than I can account. But each time I'm learning something new. And today you point out some stuff that I'm like, I would have never seen that. So gratitude, gratitude, and gratitude again. Truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. So I want to I'm just going to let y'all know to go through. I think I'm still on section 9, no 10, sorry. 9 and 10, don't miss it. Nine and 10, don't miss it. There's a lot in this to be able to do, and section 10 and 11 is really big. I'm sorry, 9, 10, a little bit of 11 too, from what I'm seeing. Forget it, read the whole darn thing. Because I don't want y'all to miss any part. Like I said, go through it with your highlighter, because a lot of what you're trying to do in the private side will then make sense for you. So it's going to be a big deal for y'all when y'all trying to make sure that you got everything going on. This is talking about for people that's locked up. I mean, everything that you can possibly think of to free yourself is in here. 40 stat 425. Everything here, those are laws. They are not statutes. They are not codes. This is a huge eye opener for anyone trying to get free and make sure that what they have done is correct. I'm now even at publications and when to publish things and put things in the newspaper and make it public record, something we just discussed and talked about. I want y'all to make sure that you dive really deep. And I think I'm still in what is this, section 11? Oh no, I dropped down. 18. Like I said, don't skip a beat.
What did they do to you? Like, did they give you pushback, or did they try to tell you to was it restructure, or did they go ahead and say, "Yep, she gets this"? How did they treat you when you got yours?
I did not go through any pushback. Every single thing I've recorded was accepted and filed and done. I did not get any pushback because I went based on the law. It was a long time, hard time coming, you know, because I was listening to every time Dick and Harry send me up a river, you know, and down rabbit holes. But at the same time, I was blessed to meet with those people that were already private. So I didn't have some of the long struggles that other people had. I only struggled at the time that I was trying to do everything really fast because I was under pressure. Which is why I say be careful of the moves you make when you're feeling pressured, because that's how mistakes happen. It's better to have the correct information than to be trying to move fast and then you go mess something up, or you do something that's ineffective. So like I can't tell you how it would work for you with the alien property custodian, given that you want to use a private ledger, because I put my stuff right on the county record. And then things went silent, you know, and then, you know, it was some slack cut, you know, they let up off of me and I wasn't getting the same pressure that I was before. So things change, the situations change, stuff you go through change when you do it right, when you do it as it's prescribed. So I'm not going to say that in the interest of the public, in the interest of the United States, in the interest of whatever, that they're going to accept my own private ledger filings. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to risk doing it. I'm not going to risk when they have a public interest in that estate. I'm going to put it in their face on the county record. That's all I'm saying.
No, now I did that on that part, on the estate side. I've done that. That's in the public. But I was speaking of these smaller accounts, like your Wells Fargo account, or you know, whatever these smaller accounts are. Do you put all that in the public? Because
no, because once you go and you give Wells Fargo a notice about something that you did like that, they're gonna close your account. You ain't gonna have an account no more.
Okay, that's what I'm kind of getting at. Okay, perfect. So
they're gonna close your account. They're gonna tell you that this is not for that.
Say that again.
If it's a public account, it's not for you doing private processes with that account. They're gonna say, okay, you claiming your interest in this account. We don't want to bank with you no more. You a risk.
Right. They'll typically close it unless you're sending it over to, as you stated.
Yeah, but when they close it, you still gonna claim your interest on the ledger, so it's not gonna matter. But just be prepared that if you start sending them these banks and all these other accounts notices, they're gonna close your accounts.
They actually sent me over to New York Mellon Bank to deal with the custodian. I'm not the custodian and what they call it, the indentured trustee. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to put it on, that's what I was getting at. I didn't want to put it on the public record, so I just sent them privately.
No, you don't have to put something like that on the public record because you're not asking them for public transfers.
Right. Okay. Whew. I get it. Gratitude. My brain wouldn't say it right.
The public don't have an interest in it. That corporation does.
Correct. I get it. Okay. I yield.
Yeah, but like if it's something like you trying to convey your house to a trust, that's public record. I could go to your county assessor's office, put your address in, and find out when you paid your property tax bills. That's public information. So if I'm going to do a conveyance on this house and everything about it is public information, I'm going to go and do a public conveyance. I can't go on Wells Fargo site and log into your account. I can't go in there and see what transactions you made, or did you shop at Walmart yesterday? I don't know that. You know, that's not public information. But anywhere that you can find public information, you should make a public record of what you did. The same way USPTO is public information. I just pulled up, I don't know if I did it on y'all thing or the class with y'all or the other one, that we pulled up Beyonce's trademark where her father conveyed the name to her.
Yeah, that was here. We saw that.
So Matthew knows his conveyance of giving his daughter rights to her name now, which is her corporation entity, her corporate self, is public record. All I did was click the file and it opened, and I saw his signature. I went to Rihanna the moment she got into the country. She wasn't always in the country, but look, she was trademarked at 18, I could tell you that. At age of majority, that name was protected. So all these things that's public information, if I no longer want to use the LLC that's on mine, then guess what? I have to do a conveyance, record it with them. They're going to make it public record that the new owner of this mark is named such and such. And it's going to show that it was conveyed from this LLC to this. And that's going to be made of public record. Why? Because the public has an interest in the name. So I'm gonna jump up off of here, and that paperwork y'all asking me for, I'm gonna drop inside of the chat. I don't want y'all to let me go though. If you still have questions, let's address them so that you can be free.
And also, one question before you go, for the affidavit of memorial, where do we send that to?
It's on the notice. You'll see it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it comes with a filing. It goes on a public record. It's an affidavit of memorial of estate. It goes with your will as in place of a death certificate. But you give public notice of the death of the estate being used as a commercial person, which goes back to why you wanted to change your name.
So I see how everything is like working in hand together.
Yeah, all of it, every step goes together. So you kind of can't do this if you skip a step. If you skip any one of the steps, you know, the house falls down.
Gotcha. So after the constructive notice, then it follows the affidavit of memorial.
No, after the constructive notice, you should have mailed actual notice. Your notices came as 2.
Okay.
But you kind of can't do that unless you actually have the name of the trust or whatever you conveyed it to, because the notice of interest comes from the trustee of the trust. So somebody that doesn't have a trust shouldn't be doing this. Kind of goes back to, like I said, you're gonna need 2 trusts. If you don't have 2 trusts, it's kind of pointless for what you're doing.
Totally agree. Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
So as long as y'all have everything structured and set up correctly, then you're good to go.
Absolutely. I just got one other question. How come Liaison's so quiet? Because you said a lot and she didn't say too much, and I'm just wondering, like, what's going on?
Liasia, I don't know. She down there somewhere.
Okay.
Might be snoring. I don't know.
Probably. She's real quiet.
Yeah, so anybody else? Nobody else got questions? Or if you want to send something privately, you're welcome.
I just got one thing, Prophetess. The trust that you say the actual notice comes from, is that the living trust, or what did that have to be the
Yes,
foreign? Okay,
it's the living trust.
got it.
Yeah, so you convey your property into your living trust, but in your living trust, your beneficiary is going to be a different trust. So in that different trust is where you can be named beneficiary or trustee or whatever you want to be, because you're not going to put details of that other trust. It's kept private. You're doing it for the receiving purposes. So in order to not have your trust collapsed, if you're a grantor, you shouldn't be trustee. If you trustee, you can't be beneficiary. So by all means, when you have an irrevocable trust, there should be 3 parties.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna wrap this up, y'all. Peace and love. Great call. I'm gonna put the other information inside and let y'all, get to it. Like I said, print out this Trading with the Enemy Act and go through with your highlighter. Make sure that you touch on everything that you need to know on what you're doing, because it is full of laws. It's not full of statutes and codes, it's laws. So peace and love. Let me go ahead and stop this recording.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gratitude.
Recording stopped.
Gratitude. Did we ever decide if we got the other recording or not?
I don't know, because I think she was just able to clear some stuff out. They had shut down her recordings because she ran out of storage. She was out of space.
Okay.
So I think she said some consultations had took up space and stuff wasn't recording. So because she was trying to hit record on this one and it wasn't working. So I just told her to delete whatever she got to. Let me know when she done. So I don't know. I'll double check it though. So peace and love. Good night, y'all. Let me know whatever you need. Text me, text the group. We'll be in touch soon.